A lot of the time, a lot of the time, there's nothing wrong with the product or the work. They just don't like who it's coming from. They just don't like that it's coming from you. You know what I mean? If it's the exact same work, whatever it was from somebody else, they'll be ranting and raving about it like it's the craziest thing in the world. And what you got to remember is that this life is basically like a stage. That's why it's called Watch Your Act or Watch How You Act. You know what I'm saying? It's all an act. It's kind of like Black Mirror, where everyone's got the kind of social credit score and everyone is just trying to get points on liking each other and things like that. So a lot of the times it's not even based on what you actually do or the value of what you actually do, but it's kind of the things around it and how much you're willing to pander and stuff like that. And it's like, luckily my dad always told me this from young, that I'm going to have to work a lot harder than the other people and stuff like that. So when it came to that time, it wasn't too much of a surprise. And it's just like, you guys need to remember as well, is like, this world is kind of built on insecurity. Like, the more insecure you are, the easier you are to control. Like, almost everything that they pump out into the world, like from media, food, everything basically, is just to put people in a state of being insecure, which makes you dependent and, like, yeah, as I said, easily controllable. So it's like, when you go against that and you're like someone who validates themselves and like you're very self-assured and you really show up for yourself, it really irritates their spirit, because it's kind of like a mirror that shows them that they don't do that or they aren't like that. You know what I mean? And remember, life is a numbers game. So it's like, there's always going to be way more people like that than there is people that are how you should be. So yeah, these are just kind of things to remember when you get into this stuff. It's just like your authenticity, and just like, if you fuck with yourself, it's really going to like irritate most people's spirit because they don't. And it's like, if you're not woke to that and understand that you have to pivot and maneuver and adjust in order to kind of get to the results that you're coming from, you can lose your mind. And a lot of people do lose their mind like that. Like, that's how a lot of people, especially in the creative field, like, they crash out because they get into the state of like frustration, and then they get into the and like a victim mindset, and a lot of it, probably a lot of the time, is rooted in truth. You know what I mean? Like, people doing things to them, and because a lot of it happens to me, but it's like, that's not how life goes. You're gonna have to figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very weird, like, but life just isn't fair. That's just it. That's one of the first things you have to accept, that life isn't fair. But it's like, everyone that's like done something worth talking about, off the top of my head, I think of like Cristiano Ronaldo, Kanye West, people like that, people that are like them, like chosen ones. Their journey is always very, very hard. It's like loads of their journey was just like convincing the world of them being what they already were, what they already were this whole time. That's what comes of it, you know what I mean? And if you're signing up to that, you're gonna have to understand that that's what comes of it, and buckle up and do that shit. Yeah, it's just very, you know what I mean? It's a very twisted and like delicate thing. And as I said, if you're not on top of it, it will get on top of you. Like, it's like, it feels like, I feel like for them, it feels like, you gotta understand it's like this, right? And it's like, and then on top of that, like, when you're kind of experiencing what I'm talking about, you might really be the one. And this is what I keep saying, you don't need the world to validate you being the best. If you are the best, you are the best. That's it. You know what I mean? If somebody trains and they have the best physique, or like they go the hardest, like, you are the best, whether 100,000 people agree with it and say it, or whether you just say it. But the world is very, very heavily dependent on like herd mentality, and most of things is like numbers based, like I said. And then if most of the things in the world are numbers based, but most of the people in the world are deeply insecure, then what are those numbers worth? And what are they? Is it not kind of skewed? Is it not? You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what in life is like, for all these people I'm talking about, they won't take you in until they have to. So once you get past that threshold where it's like convincing enough, where you've got enough people to like convince or saying what you're saying, then all those other people have to, not because they want to, but because now they've been forced, because the other herd is too big, and they're gonna now risk being on the wrong side of the fence. So it's like you could be doing the best things, and like I said, things just haven't clicked for you yet. And a lot of the things in life is like you just got to change the lens. Sometimes you got to just change the lens that it's being viewed from. Sometimes it's not the product, it's not the work, it's not the product, it's just the lens that you're putting it through. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these, like I said, these people that control this, they're gonna be like, yeah, that guy's fucking good, man. He's so fucking good. He does not give up. Like, he's got the best this, that, and he's the hardest working, but he hasn't got the numbers yet. So it gives them that feeling. They're happy. They're like, damn, yes. He's not gone yet. He's not gone. It hasn't happened for him yet. It's fine. I can just, he's just going to stay there. And that's what makes them cope. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they don't do what they're supposed to do. So they're insecure. So them seeing you kind of stuck, quote unquote, where you're at, gives me like, okay, cool, yeah, he hasn't gone yet. You know what I mean? And they depend on that. And then their treatment of you and everything else around it is based on that little thing. So you just got to keep pushing, man. And understand that a lot of the time it's not just a hard work thing, that you're not working hard enough or you're not doing any, like whatever. It's not that. Sometimes you just have to just change the lens. It's all about pivot. It's about finesse. It's about the things that people don't say, the things that you don't see. You know what I mean? Most of the things that come out in the light are done in the dark.